Oh, hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Three Dads and a Console. We know not every dad can stay up to date on the latest and greatest in video game news that you need to know about, so we are here to do it for you. And remember that this show is kid-friendly. I can't guarantee that with me and Pez tonight.
No,
no earmuffs are needed.
No, we are. Our bad influence is not here.
Fair. I'm one of your hosts, Wabba Plays, alongside is the Buffalo Pez.
Hello, I am the Buffalo.
The Buffalo.
I am
we were just
the
talking
walrus.
about the Bruins.
Cuckoo, ka-choo.
Choo. We were just talking about Buffalo and how the Bruins stink.
Oh, Bruins, man. Absolute garbage. You should be selling at the deadline. You're probably going to buy because Jeremy and Charles Jacobs, his son, need that sweet, sweet first round playoff gate before they get absolutely boosted into the offseason by Florida, because they're going to be a wild card team. So Florida or whoever's leading the Metro, which might be Washington. Because their goalie Logan Thompson's playing out of his mind. I'm just going to jibber jabber while I look up NHL.com standings. Oops, 401. Maybe I'm not. Standings. So Florida leads. No, sorry. Toronto leads the East. Leads the Atlantic.
God, that's disgusting.
And I was correct in that Washington leads the Metro. And Washington is the top overall team by about 11 points as of today, January 29th. The Bruins are the first wild card by a point. So it's them at 56. Tampa, Columbus at 55 points. Detroit and Montreal at 53. Wow, Montreal actually better than I thought. The Bruins currently, other than the Pittsburgh Penguins, have the worst goal differential in the Eastern Conference at -25.
Decent. Very decent.
A decent piece, as they say.
They probably dropped 3 spots after yesterday's 7-1 loss.
Pittsburgh Penguins, -40.
Get absolutely rocked. Way to waste Crosby's twilight years.
You want to know the crazy thing about the Bruins is this is probably their worst season in a long time. They are
wild card team.
Technically in points, tied with Ottawa for third place in the Atlantic. Because Ottawa also has 56 points. Florida with 61, Toronto with 62. So Fair. The Bruins, despite all their deficiencies, despite how bad they have looked this season, is probably going to make the playoffs. So the question becomes, do they buy or do they sell? Personally, I think they should sell. There are some pieces there that may not fit correctly, and that includes Brad Marchand, and that includes Charlie McAvoy, and that may be time to change the room up a bit. You know, I always look to like the Calgary, Florida trade for Tkachuk. And that like changed the whole thing. They traded Jonathan Huberdeau, who had like 117 points the season that the off season. They traded him, so it's like at some point you have to make a locker room changing trade.
That's why.
How's that for an opening take?
I know, right? Video game podcast. No, it's
suck it, nerds.
On our mind. I know. But I don't know. I just, as long as I don't get rid of Trent Frederick, I'm good.
I mean, I think it was Court that said they might re-sign him.
That's right, because you need bottom 6 grit.
Because you
in this economy.
The Bruins know you need Frederick Fight Club T-shirts on the corner.
They know I need to make a few $100 per year
on the corner of Causeway Street with some bum selling them for $5 as you come out of the garden.
I should, if I lived closer.
Frederick Fight Club shirt. $5.
I'm telling you, if I lived closer, I would do that.
You would do that, of course you would.
Like unironically, and I have. I've done T-shirts before for organizations, but so if anyone's looking for so yeah, here's 3 Dads and a Console where we talk about video games. Speaking of Ottawa, that's where Court is, so he's not here.
Also, video game adjacent topics because
exactly,
you know, we can fit topics, we can flow them into video games any way we want.
Like how, Pez?
Well, as we talk about the Boston Bruins, it seems that NHL 25 has released its Team of the Year cards. Now, Mr. Wabba Plays, you are a puckhead, as they say, on twitch.com, twitch.tv/Wabba Plays every Monday, Wednesday, possibly Friday at 4:30 if he's not feeling lazy. And you can watch
fair
him live
assessment.
play NHL and get absolutely roasted and toasted by his chat.
I was gonna say I won today, but no, the chat got me.
Yeah.
Yes, it is Team of the Year. It's the biggest event. Depending on who you ask, it's the biggest event. But so let me start off with this. Team of the Year. These are cards. They're the best that come out of the full calendar year, and they upgrade based on the highest card that comes out. So they start at a 90, and let's say they do really well, they get a 91 card. This card automatically upgrades. There are abilities that are free, which means that they have special, like, backhands are better or they go faster. Like, I'm not going to get into it because it's boring. But the way to make these cards is not easy. So in the past, what you would do is like trade in lower overalls for collectibles. These are significant. You do need a lot of cards to even make one. This time around, they did 87 overall cards and trade up sets to basically get to 87s. That's like the currency. So it's like 383s equal 185, 385s equal 187. And then like, let's say 1587s equal one Team of the Year. So I think it's pretty streamlined. A lot of people were very confused, and there were different ways to make them. You could use a card like an 89 McDavid to, a smaller upgrade fee, but basically that's how it is. Last year I made 7. This is an event that I save for, and by save I mean I kind of go easy on some of the other events. I save packs and stuff like that. This year I've been able to take part in a lot of different events while still being able to save. This year, so far, they did the forward. So there's 3 from the PWHL, 3 from the NHL. I have 4, and I have enough to basically make 2 more next week for defense. How do I do this, you may ask? Now, this is the part that I find is funny, is I make a spreadsheet.
Dude, spreadsheet gaming is out of control. I love it as well. So shout out spreadsheets. Shout out Google Sheets or Excel.
It's Google Sheets. I make a cost-benefit analysis, essentially, to determine my capacity. And I have the different sets. I put formulas in. I had somebody come into my chat today and be like, hey, can I take a screenshot? Like, hell yeah, dude.
That's amazing. That's truly amazing. Truly amazing.
Like, I made a video last year. I'm going to make another one. I already have it recorded. I just need to edit it for the forwards, but then for the defense to talk about like how I basically did what I did, because a lot of people struggle like, oh, maybe I'll make 1. And I'm like, no, like I'll make a bunch. And I don't just save the whole, I mean, I do save a lot, but like you just have to be smart with like your resources, and that's what I find fun. So yeah, I, determine which cards I can get rid of. I use my coins and I find the price per 87, so the price per currency, if I bought enough cards to get to that currency. So like I have to buy, 9 times 3, 27 83s to make an 87. What's the cost? So you take the cost per 83, multiply that, and you get it. So I found out that 85s are cheapest. You can actually build 1 extra collectible, but whatever. So yeah, that's what I do, and that's what I find is fun. This year, the players are McDavid and McKinnon, which is no surprise, and Kucherov. Again, kind of no surprise.
He had a great year last year.
PWHL, for those who know, it's Natalie Spooner, who her card is very weak. Marie-Philippe Poulin, for my French folks. She's very good. She's kind of small. And by one of my favorite women athletes, Taylor Heisey of the Minnesota Frost.
Girl, Taylor Heisey from the Minnesota Frost.
I'm so excited.
Is that actually where she's from, the Minnesota Frost?
Yeah, she's on the Frost.
Your boy crushing it.
I know. She's really good, and so she's my starting center, and she's getting a lot of shine from people. Next week, though, our defense, and I will say it's already been leaked, 3 of them, because the people who win Team of the Year, for whatever reason, EA buys them like custom skates in real life, and they put their name on it. So Just Dishin, who they have like a partnership with, came out with a hype video after the first week. It was like, you got great athletes, Mike McCarr.
Nice.
And then they show like 2 other people, like I think Megan Keller and like the female goalie Campbell, and it's like, well. So yeah, it's just low awareness from their partners, but yeah, so when Team of the Year started, it came out on like a Thursday, I think. No content on Friday, which people were like, "What are you doing?" Last year they had another event, but I watched 2 big NHL streamers, and they had a whole bunch of pack opening. And what you do is you wait until you see an event card in the store, so you know that they're in packs. there wasn't one. So they contact, because they're part of the design council, EA, and EA said, you're good to go. I don't know what happened, but what I do know is that they didn't pull a team of the year. No one pulled the team of the year on like Reddit or Twitter until later that day. And people are allegedly convinced that they weren't in PAX until like 5 o'clock when they started ripping at like 2.
Ooh, EA, the design council getting Order 66th.
And that you could only pull them allegedly from packs you buy, not packs you save.
Obviously.
So again, I don't know if that's true. I just know that from watching them. They're two creators I really like, and but I figured people who have their opinions about the company might, find that information interesting. But
like the information that did you hear about the Mass Effect team at BioWare?
Oh no.
They basically hold on, let me find it. The Mass Effect team apparently number one is very BioWare doesn't require support from full studio. EA is restructuring BioWare to focus on Mass Effect 5. But apparently that group is so elitist that even people in BioWare aren't fully part of the Mass Effect team. Like the Mass Effect team is like the A team, and they are super elitist. But
that's so wild. That's a good work culture. I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sure that makes it very easy to work with.
Yep. I mean, it's not the work that the Sabres did to draft Taro
Tsujimoto,
but it might be close. Now we started with hockey, and now we're talking about NHL 25, and I don't think he's going to get a Legends card. But Waba, let's talk about the Ballad of Japan's most famous, or maybe to the people of Buffalo, infamous hockey player, Taro Tsujimoto.
So this is a story that I love. Now, Pez, let me ask you, do you know anything about Taro Tsujimoto?
Yes, because you told me the story off a podcast before.
So before that, you did not. So this is
no idea who he was. No idea.
So Taro Tsujimoto, this is there's not a lot of video game news. We're going to talk more about some games later, but this is a story that I find interesting. So imagine it's not okay. By the way, I'm also using NY Times article by Ian Mendez and Matthew Fairburn to help me tell the story. So shout out them. Imagine it's cold. When does the draft take place?
The NHL draft is usually in April.
Okay, it's a warm summer day. It's a warm spring day.
Sorry,
April.
June. The NFL is usually in April.
It is a day in June in 1974. And the NHL is basically at war with the World Hockey Association. So there are multiple, leagues at the time. So what was happening is that the NHL decided, we're going to hold our draft in secret so the players don't get poached to the other league. So over 3 days, teams were selecting players via a private phone call. So the GMs, 18 GMs, were reaching out to the NHL president at the time, Clarence Campbell, in Montreal to record the pick. And each team, because it was secret, had no clue what the other clubs were doing. So the commissioner, the president, had to reread the selections each time the team was drafting a player. This is an awful way to do it because it takes forever. And the first day took 8 hours. And the draft was scheduled to go 18 rounds, 1 round per manager.
Oh my God. What? That would have taken months. That literally probably would have taken if the first round took 8 hours. It would take 18
the first
days.
round.
It would take 18 days because no one's going to draft for 12 hours, but if you put in an 8-hour workday and that gets you a round, 18 days, 8-hour days to draft people. Insane.
Yeah, you're done. So there are teams that were like, I'm just skipping the pick. So the Kansas City Scouts were a brand new expansion team. They just said yeah, we're good on our 8th round. The Golden Seals said no, and they're not. Vancouver, Detroit did not pick a player in the 10th round. So it's the 11th round of an 18-round draft. The Buffalo Sabres are up, and they didn't want to skip their pick, but they said, you know what? It's not about the money, it's about sending a message, as the Joker says. So they want to let the league know that this process is stupid, silly, and exhausting. So what happens is the public relationship director said that, he was, checking out the different players and going off, and they were thinking, like, what can we do to piss off the president? And so someone in the room, it was scouting director John Anderson, said, let's just draft someone who does not even exist. And let's just make up a name from a place that no one would expect, like Japan, for example. And they said, you know what? Why not? So Paul Tsujimoto is a person that one of these Buffalo executives had run into while they were like on vacation one year. And so that was the last name that he picked. So Tsujimoto was the last name, and he picked Taro as the first name. So they select Taro Tsujimoto as their player. And nobody realizes that that person didn't exist. So now it's a big deal in Buffalo. Buffalo is like talking about, like, oh man, we've got this like elite player. We've got like Japan's literally best player. They got drafted in the NHL. Like, we've never heard of a Japanese player, especially, at this time. And it's becoming a big news story. They're hyping it up. So they have a Tsujimoto jersey, hanging in the locker room. The sports media is coming here. Taro Tsujimoto. They're talking all these things like, oh, we can hit this. He's from, wherever. He's number 13. So we had a whole locker room. And so the rookie camp shows up and nobody knows where Tsujimoto is. And they just keep hyping it up. They're making cuts, getting ready for main camp, and they still hadn't seen him. So Star is still on the roster while these like actual people, these players who are showing up, aren't getting it. There are rumors that he had trouble getting like immigration papers and stuff like that, but the owners didn't know that this person didn't exist, and they kept asking like the president, the PR, the scout, like, when's he going to show up? And they just kept saying, like, I wasn't sure if the kid was going to make it, but we do have his rights in case he decides to turn pro in the future. So what happened was eventually, obviously the truth came out, but not before, things like sports trading cards were printed for Taro Tsujimoto, and you can still get his card in on open packs, his rookie card.
No, you cannot. Can you really? That's amazing.
So what happened was they Panini in 2011 printed a rookie set with Taro Tsujimoto. So it's not from like the 70s.
Yeah.
But they did it. It's in these like specific boxes. There's only a few I've been able to find. They're like $100 for the chance. With his alleged birth date of March 15th, 1953. He's 5'9", 165. He's from Tokyo. And again, the card has a short biography that leaned into his backstory. So it says, in Buffalo, where have you gone, Joe DiMaggio? It's where have you been, Taro Tsujimoto, the first Japanese player ever selected in the NHL draft. The Sabres tabbed the mysterious prospect in the 11th round. The Canadians, who had hoped to steal him later in the draft, were rumored to have worked out a deal for the center that would have sent Jacques Lemaire to Buffalo. Instead, the Sabres held on to his rights and continued to anticipate his arrival. To this day, whispers of his exploits with the Tokyo Katanas stir up the fans at the HSBC arena, where sometimes the faithful will often chant, "We want Taro." And it's just some random guy. Like, nobody knows who the guy on the card is. It's just some like random player. So he's basically like a folk hero now, Taro Tsujimoto. And sometimes when you travel around the arena, if you look at the back of the jerseys, you'll see number 13, Tsujimoto. And it's just one of my favorite stories that a person was drafted who doesn't exist. Nobody caught on, including the owners. Eventually he's become this folk hero.
Would you like a piece of Taro Tsujimoto lore? Taro Tsujimoto's youth team was called the Tokyo Katanas. Now, what would another word for katana be? Would it be a saber?
Oh my God.
That is the name that they picked for his youth team, the Tokyo Katanas. Because it's just the English, it's the Japanese term for saber. Like, beautiful.
If you've seen that
it's beautiful.
Family Guy gag where he's like, "What's your name?" and he goes, "P tier Griffin."
Yeah.
That's basically like what it sounds like this was like. He's like, "Well, I know somebody. You know, I used to like stop by a stand with the Tsujimoto family." All right, what's a Japanese sounding name? Taro. Okay, what team? What's Japanese for sword? Sabers.
The sabers.
So one of my like grails is actually getting a Tsujimoto card. They like you can. I mean, they're like $470 if you look at it. It's a Hot's rookie from 2010, 2011 score. PSA 8 is like 470.
That's crazy.
Like,
that is crazy.
There's a jersey for 175 of Tsujimoto. What's the last sold? Yeah, one just sold for 40. I would have picked that up. But no, that's 15.
That's crazy.
Taro. Rookie, yeah, 230 just sold. And yeah, 8.5, 130. I mean, but I mean, these are like valuable because they're so like rare. It's just such and like I don't know who the kid on the front of the card is. I don't even think he's Japanese.
Imagine if you were the Montreal Canadiens and you traded Jacques Lemaire for nobody. Now, Jacques Lemaire, for those that don't know, had multiple 90-point seasons in his career. Multiple. He had in 72, 73, he had 95 points. In 77, 78, towards the end of his career, he had 97 points. He ranged anywhere from like 42 as a rookie. He had some 60s, some 50s, some 80s. Like he was pretty high, pretty high point getter. Not at like a big goal scorer, although one year he had 44. But he was always in like the mid 20s to 30s. Imagine trading that for nobody, right? You're essentially trading him for the Mako Sturm stuff to be figured out later trades. Man, what a story.
And I'm looking now because I do want a jersey. You have to get it customized. So like someone on the Sabres subreddit last year is like, where can I get the jersey? Like people are like, like it's not like this is like a dead legend. Like people like still talk about it. So hopefully, I can find like a place to get it customized. Actually, there's one at a place called Custom Throwbacks. It's $239. Awesome. Taro Tsujimoto. They have him at number 74 there, but just weird. But there's some folk history for you.
Well, so while Taro Tsujimoto will never grace the cover of a video game ever, MLB The Show is doing something that has never happened. Waba, do you know who's on the cover of MLB The Show 25?
No.
Okay. How many baseball players would you like to guess is on the cover of MLB The Show 25?
Usually it's one, isn't it?
Correct.
2?
3. MLB The Show 25 has 3 cover athletes this year. They have Gunnar Henderson, plays for the Baltimore Orioles. Almost said Ravens because I'm still football pilled. Shout out Bills. You ruined my life again. Ellie De La Cruz plays for the Cincinnati Reds. And my boy, starting pitcher for your Pittsburgh Pirates, rizzed up by Livy, Paul Skeens.
I know him. Well, I know of him.
My man, Paul Skeens. Okay. All 3 of these guys are going to be on the cover. Okay. Pretty neat. Sounds pretty cool. They released some information about MLB The Show 25 that I think is quite interesting. And I want to get your thoughts on it because you have played the show multiple times, right? You played 24. I think you may have played 23.
Yep.
And it's not your cup of tea, but I wanted to get your thoughts on this. Firstly, the show is only coming out for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and strangely, the Nintendo Switch. which I don't understand.
Didn't they just announce a new console?
Yeah, but I mean, it'll come out for the Switch like Switch 2 or whatever. My guess. First off, thoughts on that?
Love it.
Why?
Yeah. Because, and saw this with like, other sports games, it just allows them to focus on newer hardware so you can stop basically anchoring it.
But does it? Because they have to, they are developing a game for the Switch. Or the Switch 2, which is based, if you're going to go by leaks, which we, is something that we have talked about before, is as powerful as a PS4, a handheld PS4.
So is a Steam Deck.
Correct.
Okay. I mean, I think it's good. I mean, again, with the NHL, it's like, okay, you only have like, 2 versions instead of 4, and the combined auction house and stuff like that. So I've seen positive with NHL. It's time. They're cheap enough. If you really want to play, you can get an Xbox for like, $200 now.
Right. Speaking of Xbox, now Waba, how have you played MLB The Show?
So baseball's not my thing. So I played on Game Pass to try it out.
It was revealed yesterday from PlayStation. I quote, "We are also thrilled to announce that MLB The Show 25 will launch on March 18th on PlayStation 5, Xbox X and S, and Nintendo Switch. The game will not be on platform subscriptions in 2025. So MLB The Show 25 will not be on Game Pass." That is shocking. Like genuinely shocking, because when the MLB went to Sony, they said you need to put this on every console. It was included in Game Pass, and the hype was real. Hats to the ceiling, everyone was excited. It is interesting, as we have talked about Xbox kind of like, for a lack of a better term, falling off, right, in the console wars, and like pumping all this stuff into Game Pass. This sports title that has been on Game Pass the past 2 years is no longer on Game Pass. Your thoughts on that?
Yikes. So, good. That frees up my spring. Actually, to be fair, I only played for a week. It's fine. It's not my thing. But, dang.
Yep.
I'm surprised. I think they're gonna. I mean, what do you even lose? Like, are people gonna have to buy the game? Are people just gonna say no, like I am?
I think you risk. I think you risk not having a large player base on Xbox.
Do they have microtransactions, like you can buy stubs or whatever?
Currency. Yep.
So you make money on that. Obviously, if people get the game for free, they go, all right, I'm gonna load up on $40 worth of stubs, like whatever. Same argument as before. If I can choose, why wouldn't I just get a PlayStation now? Because my favorite game is not free on that platform, and this is the console with more stuff. So, damn, that's a big hit for them.
I don't understand. I don't think we'll know why it's not coming to Game Pass, but it is very surprising to me that that's happening. And I wonder, and I don't know I don't think there's a way to track a player base, but I would put good money that the player base for the Xbox version of MLB The Show isn't anywhere close to where it was last year.
Who made that agreement initially? So, I mean, Sony makes the game.
Well, I think the MLB went to them and was like, you need to put this on every console. So then maybe it was MLB and Xbox who kind of brokered the deal. Maybe it was Sony and Xbox. I don't know. No idea. No business stuff came out. All we know is that MLB said, like, you have to put this on other consoles. We want this on consoles.
So let's say the MLB and Xbox made that deal, which I don't know if they're again, I don't know. I'm surprised they didn't this year. I wonder if Sony would have gone to them and said, like, listen, people are buying this. People are like, I don't know, what's the incentive? You know what I mean? But if Sony was in charge of it, they can just say, go pound sand. I don't care.
Right.
I'm sick of, whatever deal this is, and I want people to like, they get a cut every sale.
100%.
And or they're just trying to bury them and say, you know what, I'm sick of you.
I mean, that could also be it too, of just like, you know what, buds, go pound sand. Your subscription service is not getting this sports game day and date.
Damn.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I'm not gonna play it. Like, I have no reason to. I don't care enough. I don't play it enough.
Yeah, I mean, 24, since my multiple hundreds of hours in 22, I've fallen off because it fell into the I don't want to blame it just on Madden or EA games in general. It fell into the sports cycle of everything feels the same. So like, you can only do so much with a sports title given the annual release of them. And it's not like a thing like Call of Duty where, they released Black Ops 6 and Treyarch's working on it, but also Sledgehammer is working on the next Call of Duty that'll be out in, 2 years or whatever. And they've been working on it for 3 years or whatever. It's made by one team or one studio, and halfway through the life of the game, let's say, they're already working on next year, right? Like the NHL team is like life supporting 25 while also working on 26. Like, that's just how it goes. So it just, everything felt the same, and it didn't feel like there was any real progress, and like the graphics looked old, and it just felt old, and the online structure is hard. I think it's horrible, and it's unstable, and I don't enjoy it, and I won't buy it. Like, I didn't purchase it in 23. I didn't purchase it in 24, and I'm not going to purchase it in 25. And if I do, it'll be on sale. Like, that's the thing. Like, it'll be half off sale, and we'll do that stuff. But I wouldn't expect a 3 Dads in a Console review, but maybe Court will get hooked up with it. Who knows? But
yeah, I
really have no interest, even with a talk of adding more content to Road to the Show, because Road to the Show, while I do enjoy it, and I think it's probably the best, player focused single player game out there, because I don't think Madden's is very good. NBA has too much garbage in it. NHL's doesn't even make sense. Like,
it hasn't changed in 4 years.
It hasn't changed in 4 years, but also like, your answers don't make sense, right? And like, nothing in the game really makes any sense. And the same with Madden. Like, Madden's doesn't make sense either, because like they don't put any effort into it, right? So I always thought Road to the Show is the same. The problem with all these games is, after about a month, like 1 or 2 months into the calendar, it's the same thing. So it gets very repetitive. Apparently they might be adding some college stuff and pre-scouting stuff. And I don't know if anything's been officially released yet. I haven't been able to find it. But yeah, so it's coming out in March 18th. Pre-orders are going up next week if you want to get it. I believe there will be multiple editions. They'll have their digital deluxe edition and a t-shirt edition or a hat edition or whatever they're going to do this year. So if that's your bag, there you go. If you're looking to play it on Game Pass, you're not gonna, unfortunately. And that's the way the cookie crumbles. Truly.
Yeah. I mean, I remember like playing it, and I'm just like, in a week, I'm like, and again, I don't want to dump on it, because again, I play NHL. Like, have your opinions about that. The game is just not for me. I think, the pacing's very slow, which again is fine. That's baseball. It just wasn't catching me. I remember the first year I played, I got like Mookie Betts Diamond, and apparently that's really good. It's still sitting on my team.
Yeah, you got it like the first week into the game. The first
I know.
day.
I should have given it to someone. I didn't. Whatever.
I don't think you can do that, unfortunately.
It's wasting away on my team. But yeah, it's I don't know. Like it's weird, because like that's something like especially a sports game that a lot of my friends like, and it's like it never caught me. But I don't know. Hopefully they do. Like I think it was cool to see, like, same with like college football is to Madden.
Yeah.
like the big changes there. So if they can implement things like that, because I see like people play like a lot of like the franchise mode or whatever that's called, dynasty mode.
They have franchise in college football?
Yeah.
Dynasty
to have
mode.
something like that where you get to, scout, try to, get people to join all that stuff. I think it's like a really comprehensive, and I think like, even seeing NHL like did that this year with franchise, with like the player discussions and negotiations, like I would hope that, they add to that one, not just like here's your player, but like for the franchise part, because it seems like a lot of games are trending in that direction. I think this year actually was a really strong year for franchise mode players. I don't know if Madden made any of those changes, but
no, Madden was broken.
Oh,
and I say that based on conjecture because I haven't played it because I refuse to buy it. But so what Madden promised was like you can make promises to players, right? Like they'll come to your office, they'll be like, coach. The problem with wide receivers would come in, Stephon Diggs would come in, right? And he'd be like, coach, I want 90 catches and 20 carries as a wide receiver. And there are instances where you would complete these goals and then the player would be pissed because he would say you didn't complete the goal, like his goals. So, just Madden being Madden.
That's challenging.
Yeah. It's Madden. It is what it is. I mean, what are you going to do? They do they annualize their games, right? Every year. Don't really update it. Did you know today a 9-year-old game is still getting massive free updates? Do you know which game I'm speaking about?
A 9-year-old. Okay, give me a genre.
Open world sci-fi.
9 years. Do I even know 9-year-old games? Are you talking about No Man's Sky?
I am talking about No Man's Sky.
Oh, let's go. That's 9. I can't believe that game's 9 years old.
9 years old, dude. 9 years old. No Man's Sky just got a massive update called Worlds 2. So
they finally got the sequel.
Worlds 2 The Streets. This is part 2 of obviously the first Worlds update, which changed a ton of stuff. Planets, biomes, brand new brand new lighting engine, brand new water physics, brand new everything, because as they work on this game called Light No Fire, which is another Hello Games studio game that will eventually come out. Everything they learn from that, they pump into No Man's Sky for free. So they just released their Worlds Part 2 update. This update sounds bananas. Let's take it to Hello Games director Sean Murray. Across the universe, quote, across the universe, we're adding billions of new solar systems and trillions of new planets. Trillions of new planets.
They got AI working overtime.
And introducing new biomes and terrains without changing what people already love about the game. It is now so far beyond what we ever thought was possible when we started out. Reading from Kotaku. The update makes terrain more detailed and varied with bigger mountains and more striking features. Oceans can be several kilometers deep. Several kilometers. Now, for you, Waba, who loves his freedom units, kilometers to miles. One kilometer is about a half mile.
Oh, why not just say that? Why not just say that then?
Well, because I think they're based in France.
Ugh.
How dare you?
They're based in Montreal, actually.
Yeah, they're QC's everywhere, dude. They
Hello Games _QC.
They develop No Man's Sky by day and run NHL 3s by night as like QC automaton and like X _QC _XX _emo boy.
And they legally have to watch all their replays.
Oh my gosh, the worst, the absolute worst. Those bojos.
I hate how universal it is. Anyway, hi those from Quebec. Don't watch your replays.
Yeah. No one cares. No one cares about your cheesy backhand goals. Stop it. You've done it 6 times in the same game. No one cares.
I do
it too. But I don't watch replays. I do the same thing, but I don't watch replays because I am a stand-up gentleman.
Oh, Fair.
A nice young man, as some people would say. Oceans can be several kilometers deep, multiple half miles, if you will. And a new lighting system that lets water reflect clouds, stars, physical objects, and ships, while creatures will create more convincing ripples in oceans. So this game, and on Steam, it was like a 21 gigabyte update. This game,
That's wild.
While they're developing another, I believe, 4-person co-op open world game, is still supporting their 9-year-old open world co-op game. So shout out Hello Games. I truly love No Man's Sky. I played a lot of it. I put it down, and then updates like this come out. And I'm like, well, looks like I'm reinstalling No Man's Sky. I've put in, it's not a lot. It's like 50 hours on the PC. Like, it's nothing crazy. But man, I have enjoyed all my time with No Man's Sky, and I'm really, really excited to jump back into it, because it's a game that like just sucks you in for like 15 hours, and then you just stop playing it, but then you can go back in, and the only thing that's changed is like the graphics always get better, the physics always get better, like they're always improving the game. So shout out Hello Games, because man, if you're going to support a 9-year-old game, and we're talking about sports games being annualized and not being updated, or like get these chintzy little like crappy AI updates that you can't even tell like what changed from year to year, you love to see it. You truly love to see it.
I remember they got dunked on, and they got dunked on so bad they've been doing this stuff for free for 9 years. But I mean, that was make or break. They went 100%. On to do all these things. Like if they didn't, it's very rare, I think, to have somebody stumble like that at studio and recover the way that they have, because a lot of times it's like think about all the. There's lists of games. Like think about like Rocksteady right now with like Save the Justice League or whatever.
Yep. Kill the
like
Justice League.
what would it be? Yeah. I don't even
save
know.
Save the Justice League.
Save the developer.
No,
IP.
Throw Rocksteady in the trash. They've had enough. You screwed up. You're in the trash.
But like that's like an example where it's like they Hello Games turned that type of situation around and basically made it right. And I don't think a lot of people do that. I don't think a lot of people care to do that. It's expensive.
No. Yeah.
But now they get to continue and do what they want to do, and that I think shows like the real passion behind that developer. Probably lost a lot of money.
And the thing is, like, they still continue to put out expeditions where you can basically go like get free stuff. If they charged, people would pay for it. Like if they charge for these expeditions, let's say it's $5 to do the expedition to get your fake Millennium Falcon, or to get the whatever the Mass Effect ship is called. I totally forget. That's actually in the game.
Normandy.
It is? Yeah. Like you can do an expedition to get it for free. Like it's free to do all the stuff. They've added fishing and they've added base building, and like you could have paid for any of that at any time, because there was so much goodwill built up. Because Hello Games, like Sean Murray came out and was like, yep, I screwed up. I'm a first-time person. I'm a developer. I'm not a marketing person. I screwed up. I overpromised all this stuff. They put their head down. 2 years later, they pump out their first update, and then it was just like bang, bang, bang. Here's all these updates. His fishing, his ship combat, his blah, 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 blah. And you're like, oh my God, dude, let me give you some money. And they're like, nope, we're good. Here's our newest game, Light No Fire, is coming out at some point.
Yeah, do it by buying their next game. That's how you do it.
So I think it's pretty dope. So good for them.
That's awesome.
Good for them.
Talking about games that are coming out. There's one by Lost in Random is coming out with a new game, which I'm very excited for. That was like an EA original, but the developer, a lot of people left. And they started making this. I want to turn you guys on to an upcoming game. That I'm actually trying to get like one of the folks from there. Like I'd love to talk to them about it because I find them so interesting. So the game is called The Midnight Walk, and it's by Moonhood Studios. These are a bunch of Swedish folks who worked on Lost in Random. So it's kind of got that like claymation aesthetic, and their Twitter or their X, whatever, it's full of just them making these creepy clay like models that they're using in the game, and it shows it in clay and then what it looks like rendered. Like I'm looking at one right now. They posted on December 31st. It's like a thing with like these creepy beady eyes, like spider legs, and hinges on the side of its face, like that open up to like another face. Like these guys are so these people are so talented. It is the weirdest, most imaginative stuff ever. Like this just weird, gross, like horror type fantasy, but it's still got that like goofy charm that like you look for as well. And I think this game's gonna be really good. It's like it's one of my like most anticipated ones because they're talented. Lesson Random was great. The concept was great. The voice acting was great. The story was compelling.
What's the name of the game?
The Midnight Walk. It's the character looks like a little dude with a jug head.
Yep, the Midnight Walk. Here it is. I'm gonna wish list it right now.
Like I really like again, I'd love to talk to somebody from that studio and just like I don't know, just ask them like, what are you guys doing over there?
This is creepy. This is creepy looking.
Yeah.
Fast travel games.
And they just give all these like models. It's great.
Moonhand is the developer. Moonhood, sorry.
Moonhood.
And it looks like that it is also VR supported.
Oh, but I don't know that part. Well, I don't know.
That's what Steam says.
Yeah, I mean he's using VR these days. Not I.
Not anyone who has a PlayStation. Oh, got him.
Womp womp womp.
Got him.
Why would you? I mean, this game. I don't honestly. If this is on VR, I can't do it because I would have nightmares.
You know what game is dope in VR? No Man's Sky. I'm not joking. I played it on my
Fly to Normandy.
My MetaQuest. It's pretty dope.
Oh god, but yeah, I just that's one I want to talk about. And another thing that just came up today too. I told you about it before. Friend of the show, Dapper Tux.
Shout out Dapper Tux.
Dapper Tux. We heart him. He's hosting something.
This is how you do the heart symbol. Everybody paying attention when we say we heart you. I don't know.
Don't the Zoomers do it like this now?
I mean,
it's disgusting.
Some people do it wrong.
No, they do it like this
on a national stage, but
they do it like this. I think it's disgusting.
What are they? Bloods?
What are they?
Gang, 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 gang. What, you don't think I can say bloods? What are all the otaku spirit animal listeners gonna get upset?
Shout out to my weebs. I got a weeb game for you right after this, but
beautiful.
Dapper Tux is he's hosting I think it's brand new, the Canadian Game Awards. Which looks like it may be I hope it's in person. It looks like it is because it says see everyone at TIFF_net. I'm not sure like the format, but he's hosting with Naomi Kyle, who is from IGN. And I think this is such a cool opportunity. I mean, they're just tweeting out these pictures. I mean, obviously he's in a tux. Like, come on.
Some would say a dapper tux.
It's very dapper tux. This looks really cool. I'm really happy for him. He's been on the show, several times. He's a big friend of the show. I will tell you the one unfortunate thing about this. So the Canadian Game Awards has their tweet. They say, we're excited to have, at Dapper Tux, at Naomi Kyle, yada, yada. Right under it, they tweet in French. And
it says Je m'appelle Dapper Tux.
What? They say Je suis musée. Again, we're happy for you, Dapper. It is a little offensive that there is a French version of you.
Yes, that's French they're speaking, but no, this podcast isn't French, it's American.
The callbacks. Oh,
shout out Muzzy wherever you are these days.
Muzzy is just gone. Him, then the Whalers, and Bob Marley all gone. But no, Dapper, we're really happy for you. So congrats, dude.
100%. Congratulations.
Any other games and stuff news you're looking forward to that you've heard?
No, I mean, Monster Hunter's coming out in like a month, so that's exciting. But no, like, I think we're just kind of in the doldrums of the winter a little bit. I think, the hot releases, like sometimes they come out like the March time, but I don't know. I got nothing.
There's a game I'm like, well, it's out, but a new like version of it or a new like side story came out. So like I said, our Weeb Otaku crossover.
Shout out.
There's a
Otaku's
game.
Dirty Animal.
Love you guys. There's a game called Needy Streamer Overload. It's in all caps. It's got an anime girl, and
Can you play this around your family?
It's not what it's not that. No.
Your silence says it all.
No. Wait. No, it's not that type of game. It is the premise of it is you are a streamer. You are a like streamer girl. And again, I haven't played this yet, but obviously, when I saw like, oh, cool. But like there's something like nefarious going on, like with things not as you, but I think in your life. So you kind of have to play that role that you play on stream, but also too you have to like navigate other things that are happening and not just like, oh, I need to be a person. I think like might be dealing with some like creepy things. So it's like it's like a pixel art style type game. I've had my eye on it for a while, and there was an opportunity to be able to give review and impressions. It's been out, but it's going to be coming out for console. But that type of game, again, I think it's up my alley. I stream anime, whatever, but there's a typing game that came out alongside, which I think is very funny. And it's like you have to like be a chatter in this person's like stream, and you have to come up with like the funny memes and like all that stuff. Like it's just this weird like spin-off, which I love because like when I play Persona, okay, you want to give me a fighting game, I'm in. You want to give me a dancing game, rhythm game, I'm in. Like I just love stuff like that when you try to do something like weird and different with your property. So as soon as I saw that opportunity, I was like, I'm in. So if you played that anime game and you're crossover with that anime Naruto Shippuden podcast, let us know in the comments below. But
shout out Needy Streamer Overload, typing of the net.
Yes.
I definitely just looked it up.
Is it like I'm telling you, man? Like stuff like this is just wild.
I like weird, wacky stuff every now and then. Weird, wacky, wild stuff.
That's not that company though. Like the developer, they've got some like interesting like other games too. Like that actually you might want to get into if you're looking for something to do. There's like I think there's like an Alice in Wonderland style like game, like just like these like pixel like aesthetics. So I'll check out or I'll send you the trailers, but I think some might be up your alley in case you're looking for something to do until Monhunt comes out and you want to
good Monhunt.
Destroy some peaceful animals napping and rip off their tail and sell it for profit.
No, I rip off the tail and I make a cod piece out of it. That's what you do with it. You cut off their head and you wear it as a hat. Tell me I'm wrong.
I'm like I'm telling you, when I was watching you stream that game, I genuinely was not rooting for you.
Love how conflicted a game like Monster Hunter is, because I've always said the true monster is the hunter. While you hunt monsters, the real monster hunter, it isn't you're a monster hunter, you're a monster of a hunter. Think about it. You're not gonna. You won't, but you should.
Think on what if?
What if I? Shout out Creed. Shout out Scott Stapp. Shout out Josh Allen. We're just shouting everyone out. Shout out Doja Cat. Wherever you are.
Shout out Doja Cat. Shout out Roger Clemens.
Shout out Roger Clemens wherever you are. Dude,
authentically,
Roger Clemens. Did you know it's truly Roger Clemens' fault that Pedro had to give the old man the oop-de-oop?
Is it?
Yeah, because so what happened was Roger Clemens hit someone on the Red Sox. It might have been Veritek. I can't remember. And then so Pedro then threw at, maybe it was Bernie Williams. No. Maybe it was Cano. I can't remember. So Pedro threw at someone. So then Clemens threw at Manny's head.
Oh.
And then it was the brawl. And then the dude, I totally forget that guy's name, came out and Pedro gave him the old oop-de-oop. Threw him to the ground.
The old DDT.
Yeah. Dropped that old man like a sack of spuds.
Roger Clemens is my favorite I think
Zimmer.
baseball player of all time, Don Zimmer. I have so many cards of his. It's wild.
Who? Roger Clemens?
Yeah, like my
He's your
binder
favorite
is
of all
full of
time?
pages. Yeah,
Oh, I never knew that.
I've got pages and pages of cards from him, not one auto, but I don't know. He's super active on like Twitter and so like he's like pitching now, showing like off. It's like dude still got the juice. Honestly, he'd probably be a good setup man for the Red
because he
Sox
was
the way
on
they're
it.
playing. Fine. Gear. But I remember
Metal
seeing
Gear.
Metal Gear. I saw a video of Pedro getting interviewed, and he was talking about like playing the Yankees. He's like, they threw at Millar, and so Millar comes to the bench, and I asked him. I said, "Who do you want?" And he's like, "I was terrified. I've never seen him like that." So I gave him a name, and next thing I know, he throws right at their.
They threw it Millar,
back.
and that started the whole thing.
Oh, that was it. Yeah, he's like, I threw at their back. He's like, and then the next time I threw at Jeter's hands. He's like, didn't bother. He's like, and I pointed at them. I let them know that I'm watching. You know, I sent him home. Sent him home in the send him away in the same ambulance.
Yep.
I was like, that dude was so cold.
Next thing you know, dude, that's when baseball was awesome because like that's when the Yankees are real good and the Red Sox were like beaten down by the Yankees, but then all of a sudden, 2003 ALCS, Aaron Boone smashes that home run, everybody's crying and everyone's all doing their thing, and then all of a sudden 2004 ALCS down 3-0, they come back, then they sweep the Cardinals the first time in 87 years. The Boston Red Sox are your world champions.
It doesn't have it like that anymore, and I don't think a lot of sports do. Like,
no,
that was like they hated each other. I mean, they might have respected each other, but they hated each other.
Yeah, I think when they played, they genuinely hated each other, and I think talking about Boston sports, you probably won't see that. Like, you may never see that again, because the Patriots, like, who are the Patriots gonna hate? Like, who did the Patriots hate? Nobody.
No one hated them anyway. I mean, they hate New York teams because that's like tradition, but that's it.
And like, I think teams didn't like the Patriots. Like, I think the Colts and the Patriots didn't get along, but there wasn't like animosity, or at least it didn't seem like it on the field. And even in hockey, like, you have your 06, 07, 08, 09 Bruins, right? And then with Montreal, and you have your line brawls and your absolute like chaos, and Shane Knight's beating the bag out of people, and Sean Thornton's beating the bag out of people, and there's just fights, and it's great, and everyone's having a good time. And then all of a sudden, the Canadians get bad, and no one, and it's like, yeah, we don't care anymore because it's like beating up your, it's like you as a 21-year-old beating on your 5-year-old brother. And put them in wrestling moves because the Canadians stink. And now even in baseball, the Red Sox stink. So it's not like the Yankees are all juiced up to play the Red Sox because the Red Sox blow. And I just don't know if that's I also don't know if sports are like that anymore, if that makes any sense.
Well, even the Yankees and Red Sox, like, remember they took players would leave the Red Sox and go there. So now you have like
Johnny Damon
and Ellsbury,
Jacoby Ellsbury. Roger Clemens.
So now it's like, okay, like, you left us for that. So now you have that, like, bad blood, like
genuine hatred. It was great.
Yeah, like fighting just during game, like, like hitting the like, you don't get that. And now it's like, you gotta, someone gets mad, they charge them, they walk to the mound.
Yeah. The cool thing is, like, at one point, Alex Rodriguez, when he was playing with Texas, was like on the way to being traded to Boston, and that got voided by MLB, and then he got traded to New York. Right? Or then he signs with New York, but he somehow ended up with the Yankees. So then, even with A-Rod, you had that going on. Then you had slapping the ball out of Bronson Arroyo's glove, and like you had Varitek pushing him in the face, and like,
oh yeah,
dude, that's when baseball was the best in Boston. That was the peak of Boston baseball for me. And then all of a sudden, like, I think after 07 they won, I think it was like the 13 team or something where Mike Napoli was part of it. I was like, I don't care anymore.
After Ortiz left, that was like, different era. But I, like, now you see, like, okay, people leave the bench, and like, people are running from the center field, pitcher. Like, it's so stupid. It's like this performative, like,
it's garbage.
It's so, like, just these soft people, like, just like pretending like something's gonna happen. Like, I'm not saying you have to fight.
I mean, I'm saying if fights,
you,
like Jose Ramirez, I think absolutely lumped some dude that, like, last year or the year before. That was pretty dope. But yeah, you don't see it a lot anymore.
Yeah, like, if you're gonna do it, you like do it. Stop this, like, oh, I'm gonna trot out next to the other team. Like, why are the pitchers not meeting in center field? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just so stupid. Like, I don't know. It's not the same. I mean, hockey's got a little bit of that bite still. You see it, but like you said, who are the Bruins going to hate? The Leafs? Fair.
Leafs? Yeah.
But like, those people aren't going to muck it up. Like, what do you got? Reeves? How can you hate Reeves? A dude's.
Oh, I mean, I hate Reeves. I just think he stinks, but I think he's
But
overrated,
he's.
but still,
you know.
it's like there's no bloodlust like there was back earlier in the 2000s or mid 2000s.
And not that there has to be, but that creates like an environment where like when you have two teams that actually hate each other, you get like the best out of them, even the bad players. Yeah. And I think you saw that with the Bruins and like in 2011, like they hated every team.
Everyone
oh my gosh, they hated the Canucks. Tim Thomas just straight up, my favorite, cross-checking one of the Sedins in his crease and knocking him over and then punching him, and the Sedin gets the penalty. It was so good. The only downside is the Canucks didn't hate the Bruins enough, and that's why they lost.
Well, they weren't tougher than the Bruins. That's the thing. Yeah. Although, like, some of those non-calls, like Marchand just beating on Henrik Sedin, it was like, dude, how do you get away with that? Are you kidding me? You just like lumping this dude, and he's just standing there taking it, and the ref's like, oh, Jean-Mapel Dapatux.
Yeah, let's. I just like the videos of like Marchand basically like hitting someone like so hard he falls down. He knows somebody's coming to get him, and then he just ducks down so he can like.
Yep.
Oh,
great.
Those were the days. Those were the days.
Those were the days.
Back when Black Friday shopping had serious physical consequence, and back when sports were.
That's right. And all the world fell apart when you stopped assaulting people at Walmart on the day after Thanksgiving. Oh, is this not a free country?
I think that's the point in time.
I can't slap Nana around to get my 35-inch Vizio TV for $45. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. This is the downfall of society right here. Yeah.
No Sweet Chin music to get a $25 toaster. I'm out.
No.
Any final thoughts for the folks on that note?
Yeah. If you're ever in Walmart on Black Friday, put someone in a sharpshooter. You will go viral. Not a lawyer, not a financial planner, not life advice. Hashtag just jokes. Hashtag just kidding.
Hashtag yeah.
But make it Bret Hart's sharpshooter and not the Rock's version of the bleep shooter. I used to call it children earmuffs. I call it the shit shooter because it's horrible. Un-earmuffs children.
That's good. That's it. That certainly is some of the advice of all time.
That is advice. It is truly advice.
My advice, I have none. I am getting my tax forms. Don't lose them. Do your taxes, even if it makes you cry.
Yep. Do your taxes.
So
don't be like, don't be a tax cheat, because then IRS, when he comes to the ring, will call you a tax cheat. Can you believe that we bookended this? We bookended this podcast with hockey.
That's how it goes.
We did a hockey sandwich. It was, we're going to start talking about hockey. We're going to feed you video game information, and then we're going to end it with hockey.
And even hockey video games as the lettuce, or as they say, lechuga.
Ooh, the lechuga.
For our friends in Australia.
Who
speaks Spanish in Australia.
Shout out Spanish Aussies.
I'm
so dark and twisted.
If you had fun listening to us talk about hockey games and Australian accents, make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/3dads, and a console. Check out 3dadsconsole.com. We've already alluded to some of the upcoming content for us. I will be making a video very soon about Team of the Year if you like NHL. If you don't, still watch it because I'm emotionally fragile and I need the validation.
Yeah, subscribe. Unlike again.
Oh, that's a good point. Share with your friends, share with your grandma, share with
Nana
dog.
Because once you put her in the sharpshooter, while she's resting up at Mass General, you can give her something to watch.
That's very true.
Don't put her in a figure four, because if she turns over, then you're in the figure four. Gotta put her in the sharpshooter. It is essential.
And if you do the walls of Jericho, just keep them away from the rope to avoid that break.
That's right.
Thank you very much for your time and attention, and we'll see you in the next episode, where I think it's still just you and I. So
it's just you and I. So get used to this, nerds.
Good luck. Miss you.
Good luck.
Bye.